Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to Monday Football Monday here on the SB Nation NFL Show. A reminder before we get started that this show is brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code SBNNFL for a special offer when you sign up. That's code SBNNFL only at DraftKings Sportsbook. As mentioned, this is Monday Football Monday here on the SB Nation NFL Show. A truly unique experience. You can watch this show live every single, obviously, Monday on the SB Nation NFL Twitter page, the SB Nation NFL Facebook page, and the SB Nation NFL YouTube channel. You can also listen to this as a podcast. Subscribe to the SB Nation NFL Show wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a rating, write a review. Those things help us out. We'll always read any review that you happen to write. We have shows coming out each and every day, all throughout, every week, every month, because the NFL does not sleep. What offseason? NFL dignitaries have gathered around Florida for annual league meetings, so make sure to stay tuned to your local SB Nation blog. They'll keep you updated on everything that coaches, GMs, and owners had to say. But here we are going to discuss, well, who knows what we're going to discuss. I say we. My name is RJ Ochoa from SB Nation's Blog and the Boys, and I am joined, as I am every single week, by Raichele Privette, our fantastic producer here. You can see her over at Bleeding Green Nation and across the SB Nation NFL Show, and my co-host, the one and only from SB Nation's Arrowhead Pride. He is the one who knows the guy. He has a guy for everything. He's one of those guys. P-E-T-E, Sweeney!
Breakfast guy, coffee shop, all the things you might need. You got to have a guy for everything. That's true. Good to be here. We are in the midst of the coaches meeting. What is interesting about, or I should say the owners meeting and the coaches breakfast. Have you seen, this is how they do it at the owners meetings. This is one of the NFL staples where the coaches sit around, the media there's a spread and they can ask the questions. And we're seeing some updates coming out of Florida right now, minor updates, but you could tell already there's some kind of rift between the Raiders and the Derek Carr's representation. You got Teddy Bridgewater being named the backup officially of the Miami Dolphins. So you're seeing a couple updates here and there. Nothing groundbreaking yet, though.
Right. We actually, this is not a lie. It's totally true. Before every Monday Football Monday, I ask Raichele, I really don't care about you, Pete, what she had for breakfast on this day. So breakfast is kind of a common theme here. What is your go-to breakfast in a public setting? It's a very different breakfast than normal. Like you're around people. There's drinkware, silverware. There's one of those cloth napkins that you got to lay over your thigh or whatever. Right. What's your ideal meal in that environment? Maybe there's like you said, a spread. Maybe there's like those silvery kind of serving containers or whatever. Like what are you getting to eat here?
I always have one of two options depending on what I'm feeling. I go the classic breakfast, which is, you get the eggs and the bacon strips and they have the toast and whatever you would call that. Or I go with like a hash. So depending on the place I'm at, I really enjoy the breakfast hash. And in Kansas City, they happen to have a lot of places that have barbecue breakfast hash, which it ends up being a real treat depending on where you go. So.
Okay. All right. I will say this, just pro tip. All right. If you're somewhere, maybe like a conference, you're eating around people that you don't necessarily eat around a lot. That once upon a time happened with Pete and I. We shared some pie and then later shared some paella. Get some watermelon. Throw some watermelon on your plate. You look fancy. You look like you got some color. You got some, like you got some juices flowing. That watermelon juice is a strong push.
Watch out for those seeds.
So be careful. But then you look cool because you're navigating your fork around there like this guy. This guy knows how to use a fork.
Cottage cheese and cantaloupe, another treat.
I know, Pete, that you don't listen to the Oddcast because, who does?
Right.
But they hate the Baltimore Ravens, and they like to say we don't hate Lamar Jackson. We're super big fans. They're frauds. They're total frauds with how they operate over there.
I happen to be a big fan of Kyle Barber and all his cutlery and whatever he wants to bring to the table, really.
So in the interest of transparency, of not being fraudulent, like the Oddcast, I'm going to tell everybody, Pete, that I'll say I completely changed the show rundown like 10 seconds before we're going to start. Is that fair characterization?
Yeah, and you know what? Raichele and I, we are flexible. We roll with the punches.
Malleable.
Whatever. We've kind of agreed to whatever RJ says goes at this point.
So we were going to do something different. Maybe we'll do it a different time. But we are going to talk about movies. On the heels of the Oscars, the Academy Awards. Shout out to the Academy. Hopefully they invite us back as well. The Oscars last night, a memorable affair to say the least. And we have 3 awards that we are going to hand out. Stats and I previously did superlatives on the look ahead, but we're going to do Best Supporting Actor. We're going to do Best Actor in a Leading Role, obviously, and Best Film. These are all things that have taken place over the course of this offseason. Do you understand the rules, everybody?
I think we're in. I think we got it. It was a quick switch, but I think we're ready to go here. We're good to go.
Okay. Do you want me to go first, since I kind of, again, surprised you with this? How do you want to go first? You feel confident? You tell me, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead. You go first, and we'll bring up the rear here.
So we have to build up, right? We're going Best Supporting Actor to Best Film, right? That's the logical progression. Sure. Okay. Best Supporting Actor. This NFL offseason, you kind of mentioned the situation. Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Davante Adams. I mean, who else has demanded a trade to play with a specific person? Let alone a specific person of Derek Carr's, we'll call it, talents. I mean, Davante Adams went from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr. And He did this on purpose, right? And he did this because he cited the relationship they had in college. Look, we all had, how many friends do you have from college that you don't ever even speak to now, Pete? Remember when you were in college, you were walking around the quad, you're like, we'll be friends forever. You know?
We'll never forget each other.
Right. It will be friends forever. And
Cheers to the times we felt alive. Mm-hmm, Cheers to the tears. They made me cry, really.
And you haven't spoken to them since Moonlight won the Oscar over La La Land, and that was the last crazy moment from that ceremony. Sometimes time just passes. Life happens. You get busy, but not for Davante Adams. No. He has his bro, him and Derek Carr back at Fresno State. They were running the pong table. All right, they were kings of the campus, and Davante Adams is here to save him. Best Supporting Actor.
Here's to the nights we'll never remember with the friends we'll never forget. Think about that when you think about Davante.
Right. It reminds me of the song that I sang very well here. We Are Young.
Yeah. This is nice. Good morning. This is a great way to start my week. Yep. Well, what's funny about this, RJ, and I you're going to think that I'm making it up here, but I'm going to show right there. I hid the rest of mine, but there it is. Davante Adams.
I don't think anybody can read that.
There it is. Let me put it up. You see there on the there it is.
Why does the name take up like one tiny corner of the paper? Like why was
I had something there originally and I changed it to leading actor because I thought it fit in that section. So I agree. I mean, for me, it's Davante Adams. I wish I had someone else to talk about, but as they say in hypothetical games, RJ, great minds think alike, and I completely agree. I found myself looking up once this trade happened, the Fresno State highlights from yesteryear. I mean, it's been a long time since they played together. And man, did Derek Carr look good. I mean, I don't know. We always talk about how quarterbacks can make wide receivers look good. I tend to think this is a legitimate case where the wide receiver can make the quarterback look good because Derek Carr is always teetering along the way of like being a top 10, top 15 guy. And I don't even like Derek Carr, but I'm actually optimistic here. Taking my bias out of it, I think this puts him in the realm. Like he was about to be in a division where he was above his head in deep water, no floaties. Good luck, perfect storm. You're going to drown, Derek. And now
Perfect Storm, another great movie on the subject of the Oscars.
100%. And now I think he can actually play with these guys with Davante. And I never in a million years with the cast from last year, without Davante, I mean, it puts him in the realm of a Mahomes, a Herbert, and a Wilson, where I could see the Raiders compete. I mean, they were very clearly going to be fourth place, and
now the Chiefs are right.
I don't know about that, but who knows about the top three? But now I can see the Raiders in the mix. I mean, you think about last year, we don't talk about it enough. The Raiders were a disaster off the field, and Rich Bisaccia leads them to the 5th seed in the AFC, and now they're adding Adams in. So, yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic, and you're right. I think he certainly is the best supporting actor right now in the NFL. We'll see what Raichele has if it's anything different.
Right before we get to Raichele, since you didn't have another one, you weren't properly prepared. Let me throw out just a second one, just for the purposes of giving us two. You ready for this? You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Best supporting actor, Pete Sweeney's choice, not mine. Dallas Cowboys cornerback, Trayvon Diggs. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's going on? What's this guy doing? He's coming out of left field. Don't worry. I got you. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, Pete. Trayvon Diggs throwing out some breadcrumbs on the old Twitter.com. The old timeline says, I've always wanted to play with my brother. His brother just so happens to be Stephon Diggs, the Buffalo Bills.
He played for Buffalo, yeah.
And he tweeted, 14 in Dallas would be fire emoji. All right? People think this is the season of the eyes emoji. No. Don't forget about the fire emoji. Right. Now, here's the thing. You might be thinking, Trayvon, he's trying to work a trade, get Stephon to Dallas. Cowboys traded away Amari Cooper, have a need a wide receiver. You're thinking too small. All right? This is what's actually happening. We now live in a world where all the Dallas Cowboys are good for, Pete, is leverage. Leverage, baby. Stephon Diggs, he's seeing Devontae Adams get the proverbial bag. He's seeing Tyreek Hill get traded from the 4th place Kansas City Chiefs and getting the proverbial bag. He said, you know what? That bag, I like that bag. I want some of that bag. How do I get the Buffalo Bills to give me the bag? I need to create some interest. I need to create some sort of threat. I might leave. There's somebody interested in me. What resources do I have? Oh, that's right. I happen to have a brother who plays on the team with the most leverage in the NFL because that's all they're good for. So this is Trayvon just being a good bro. Best supporting actor, best supporting actual brother here, trying to get Stephon Diggs' name in the circles of things so the Bills say, you know what? We'll give you the bag. Boom.
You know what? I have one too stemming from that. I just thought of one as well for supporting actor that just came to me. Christian Kirk, Jacksonville Jaguars, supporting the wide receiver position. Christian Kirk is fine. He kind of stinks, and he set a baseline where any receiver that's better than him, which there are a lot, should be upset with what he was able to get from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he really put the wide receiver position back on the map. I think we're seeing these absurd contracts at this point, and it's really messing with a lot of teams, Kansas City Chiefs included. I mean, that's hitting home right there. So kudos to Christian Kirk. I'm never going to be mad at a player for getting the money there, but he, everyone's like, oh, Devontae changed the Tyreek thing. Christian Kirk changed it and set this. He was the flick of the first domino, and now you're seeing the repercussions of that everywhere. So thank you to the Khan family, and thank you to Christian Kirk. A lot of people down there supporting the wide receiver position as a whole. So
very well said. Raichele, best supporting actor. Can you top Devontae Adams, Trayvon Diggs, or Christian Kirk with your award recipient?
I don't know if I'm gonna top it, but this is what I came up with. Not really understanding the rules. I originally said Tyler.
Very clear
Huntley.
rules,
It was, but this was last minute. I said backup quarterback Tyler Huntley for the Ravens.
Okay.
For a supporting role for Lamar Jackson.
So you went back into the season. That's you changed the game. Okay.
Didn't make the postseason. I don't know. I felt like they would have had to make the postseason for that to nail, but
no, but Rachel's right, because there was a lot of the list. Yeah, there was a lot of just move on from Lamar. Lamar wants to get paid. Tyler Huntley played well. This is a good choice. This is better than not having a choice, which is what you were, Pete.
What I would say is, I kind of like it, and I don't love it. I'm not going to say I love it.
It's something.
I kind of like it because I don't think there are a lot of quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks in the NFL that really, really remind you of something close to the actual starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, Huntley is like the best replica. I mean, you think about all the other quarterbacks in the league, it is a big drop off, even if you tend to have a good backup, right? So #MinshewMania. And so I think it's good. I mean, it's not great, but it's good. I like
it. Just remember in about 30 minutes when MF double MVP's up,
well, technically someone else should vote today because I'm a part of it.
That's right. I
mean, I'm just saying. You can always award it to yourself. Like this is your jurisdiction. I mean, this is your court.
How about we all vote? How about that today? We all vote, and you just can't vote for yourself. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
I kind of like that twist, Pete. Maybe I'm not voting for you. I like the Tyler Huntley thing. So, okay, we all vote. You can't vote for yourself. All right, well done. Cool. All right, actor in the leading role. Pete, you are up first. And then we'll of course divvy out the responsibilities. So again, this is the actor in a leading role. This is, again, we don't need any drama on stage here. But where's your head at?
Well, mine is also a Lifetime Achievement Award in acting as well. And of course, I actually have two if we want. I ended up getting two for this one, but I'll start with the one I feel is the most. I mean, and he's been acting and doing it for 10 years. And congratulations to Urban Meyer. This guy has fooled everybody for 10 years into thinking he was. I don't know if anyone ever really thought he was a good guy, but at least like a good coach and someone that could really build both a college program and was so into what he was able to accomplish at the college level that they handed him the keys to one of these 32 NFL franchises. And we found out last week that it wasn't just bad. It was completely awful and a hidden disaster. And it was dumb of him because he had everyone fooled like he had all these great college accomplishments and he deserved to be respected as one of the better college football coaches of all time. And now I think he's ruined it so bad. He had the acting thing down for like 10 years and he's ruined his reputation so bad that I think people even will throw out some of the success that he had at the college level. So congratulations to him for acting for all these years. The act is over, unfortunately. So he'll leave with an MFM, a Lifetime Achievement Award for acting, but not much more when it comes to A, his reputation, or B, any kind of dignity that he had left.
So there was the massive expose in The Athletic about Urban Meyer last week.
Yes.
So like in no way am I doubting the reporting that the fine people at The Athletic do. I will just say I have a hard time believing, like, as an example, the Aaron Donald thing. You know what I mean? Like, I know that was the quote that kind of like, was the headliner for the piece.
Yeah.
I just again, like, I'm not at all going to sit here and defend Urban Meyer. That's not what I'm about to do. But like, if you are involved in football as a profession, I just can't imagine how you would not know who Aaron Donald is.
That particular quote, and it was him saying, "Oh, we have to worry about 99. Why do we have to worry about him?" Talking about Aaron Donald. Seems like a joke, but there were some other things in there,
right? Like
outright racism with John Brown and just treating coaches like absolute dirt,
right?
And like
like I said, there's
about benching James Robinson, like stuff that you knew was legitimate. And so to me, it's just, man, what a fake career in a sense, because these college coaches are way more protected, and this type of stuff had to have been happening, and it just never reached the surface because you were dealing with what are the equivalent of like boys instead of these grown men who get paid a lot of money to do this. So that's my first one. I have a second one, but I'll let you go.
Well, so we had really kind of been positive, at least with actor in a supporting role, right? Like we were all kind of like, especially Devontae Adams.
This was a little cheapish. Yeah.
Right. No, well, I mean, like, it just is what it is. Like sometimes you gotta play a bad part. You gotta play a villain. You know what I mean? Like it's acting. I don't think there was any playing on Urban Meyer's part. I think that was a little bit more authentic than that. But this next one I do think is like legitimately acting. All right. And that's a little bit of a spin negative. And I will reiterate for the entire SB Nation NFL show universe that I am the only person holding this team accountable. We've talked obviously about the NFL-ness happening in Florida right now, all the people gathering and all the quotes. We're starting to see different coaches and general managers and owners and whatnot. Frank Reich, Indianapolis Colts head coach, Pete Sweeney. I don't know if you saw this. He said that he found it to be unfair to make Carson Wentz the scapegoat for their disappointing season, particularly the end of the season. That's some phenomenal acting right there by Frank Reich in my mind. Like, what do you mean it's unfair to make him the scapegoat? It's totally fine to make him the scapegoat, but I also think this is next level acting. This is like Inception level stuff here. And I know that's not the movie that Leo finally got on the board with. This is Frank Reich just throwing all the attention off of himself. And that's all that him and Chris Ballard have done. They have been the ones acting all offseason long. Carson Wentz totally deserves an enormous amount of blame, an enormous amount of responsibility, however much you want to put on him, but so do they. And they are just, again, like this spin of like, quit blaming Carson Wentz, guys. This is like, okay, well, maybe we should start blaming you, but nobody's going to blame them because they're like, oh, look at these guys. They don't want anybody to blame Carson Wentz. No, Frank Reich and Chris Ballard are skating off scot-free. They made this bed. Frank Reich was the one. I love Frank Reich the person, but he was arrogant enough to say, this broken quarterback, this arrogant quarterback, I can fix him. I am the one. I am the key to unlock the lock that is Carson Wentz, and it blew up in his face, and neither of them want to face any kind of accountability for that. They only want to throw. I think the person who's more aggressive about throwing Wentz under the bus is Ballard. He's the one who came out and had the comments about like can't miss the layups or whatever it was. Like these are two people protecting themselves and doing it at the expense of Carson Wentz.
I like the pick. I think that you have a point. I think for this particular Indianapolis regime, the excuse is gone now. And so I feel like this is the first time, everyone talks about how in 6 years they had a different starting quarterback.
Who cares? Like that's like I hate that, dude. That's their fault. I mean, they chose to marry old Phillip Rivers. They chose to spend premium draft capital on Carson Wentz. They chose to trade for old Matt Ryan. So like when they're sitting here next year, they're like, "Oh, number 7." Like it's their fault. They're the ones who keep making this bet.
They've been dealt a tough hand, and I think that stems from the luck thing. I know it's a while ago. They made a grand mistake. I don't think you're wrong about that, and you're right. They really don't get probably as much blame as they should for investing in Carson Wentz. But what I tell you now is with Matt Ryan. I mean, Matt Ryan is not necessarily what is he? He's not in his late 30s. What is he? 34. Correct.
He's 37.
He's 37. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a little bit wrong about that then. But
he will be 37 in 2 months. To be clear,
he'll be 37. So you're looking at like 2 to 3 years of no excuses, in my opinion. I think you got at least 2 more years of Matt Ryan. And by the end of that, you should be drafting, hopefully, your next year, a quarterback to be your QB of the future. But if you don't make the postseason this year with Matt Ryan, who in my opinion, still, again, has at least 1, 2, 3 years still left in the tank, then you start to look at the regime. And I think that's fair. I think at a certain point, you got to look inward and be like, where have we gone wrong here? And look, the Wentz thing was a huge mistake. I do think that they were dealt a tough hand, especially.
They were dealt a tough hand 3 years ago.
But here's the thing, and here's the thing.
When they were dealt a tough hand, the Chiefs had never won, or Patrick Mahomes had never won a Super Bowl, or even been to a Super Bowl. Like it's been forever since then.
Chris Ballard, I think, was a sought-after GM candidate, and he was tactical about where he went, and a big part of that was thinking that he would have luck. And as it turned out, he had bad luck. Really, is what it came.
I will also add that I think that the entire nucleus of Coltsness is full of actors. In that Matt Ryan is now pushing this narrative, like, well, the only place I wanted to go, really, if I wasn't going to stay in Atlanta, was Indianapolis. Matt, shut the hell up, dude. Like, you're a great guy. This is awesome, but like, nobody is that dumb or gullible that they believe that the only place Matt Ryan had interest in happened to be the one place that he wound up. Have you seen the quote, by the way, that and Peter King wrote about this today in Football Morning America, but this had made the rounds last week, that he went upstairs in his home to have the Zoom conversation with the actors known as Frank Reich and Chris Bowden, and that he came down and his wife said, "You look different, Matt." Like, dude, what? This is like bad acting out of a Hallmark movie, like coming down. Wow, you just have a different energy about you.
Straight to
like
TV.
I like he was like one step away from being like, the aura around me went from like a shade of red to a shade of blue, or like I really felt like Neo being presented the red pill and blue pill in the Matrix. So I took the blue one. That's where I'm finally going. This is just dumb.
I'm high on Colts Matt Ryan, and I don't like that you're throwing him under the bus. I've liked
holding
the Colts
him
for
accountable.
a while now.
It's not throwing him under the bus.
I like the Colts for a while now, and I think they're a playoff team, and we will see what happens in Indy. I love the second act of Matt Ryan, and I think it'll be fun to watch. I think it's a great NFL storyline, and there's been a lot of them. And it won't be a big storyline, but it's one I'm going to be following.
This is one of those movies, like, and I don't know enough about like movie culture, but like,
right.
When people are like, oh, he or she took that role to win an Oscar. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is so clearly like the ring chasing move for, I mean, obviously he's literally ring chasing, but like this is like that actor or actress chasing that move. Like, it's like that, like super deep artsy fartsy project. Like, that's what this is. He's going to the Midwest. Ooh, yeah, coats. Ooh,
I think it was Atlanta.
The combines in Indianapolis, the shrimp cocktail. It's enough. I'm sick of this.
Atlanta went after Deshaun Watson, and I think, and this is kudos to Matt Ryan and his professionalism, behind the scenes, in my opinion, I bet he took the same approach as Baker Mayfield and said, I want out of here. You guys wanted to upgrade here. You don't hear about it because Matt Ryan is smart enough to like.
He's better at the game. That's what it is.
Sure. But I think the same exact thing happened. And now Atlanta, speaking of acting, they acted like they want Deshaun, and what do they end up with? Marcus Mariota, which is another sub-storyline of this. We're going to see if Mariota is a contender or a pretender as we go here. So very, very interesting connection now between Atlanta and Indy, and eager to see what happens in 2022.
Okay. Are you feeling confident enough in your second actor in a leading role, or do you want to go to Raichele? Like, how do you want to handle this?
Why don't we go to Raichele and then come back to me? We've been talking a lot here.
Okay, Raichele, actor in a leading role. Lots of pressure on you to nail this. This is the marquee award of the evening.
You stole mine first. Of all.
I did?
That was really good. I thought, no, I had put down Frank Reich for the Colts, but my backup.
You hear that, Pete? That was really good.
That was a really good one. I'm
decent, yeah.
Being honest. My backup, I think because of the shadiness and how this went down, I put down Randy Gregory.
Ooh,
with everything that went down with the Cowboys and how he flipped on them. That was some really good acting. Had to have them poker face. I'm going to go with Gregory.
Raichele with the Ric Flair low blow to RJ in the middle of the match. And
I think this is, unlike Pete's selections, this is a well thought out pick. So first of all, congratulations to you, Raichele, understanding the game that we are playing here. Doing a masterful job. I mean, if you're not making us uncomfortable, you're not doing your job. I mean, so I'm not upset about that. Pete might be upset about it, but that's hey. So
actually, with the teams we cover, RJ, there's reason for us to be equally upset about this.
So Randy Gregory, the long story made short is the Cowboys allegedly tried to slide in some contract language at the very end after terms were agreed to. This is apparently standard contract language with the exception of Dak Prescott, who is the quarterback, so a natural exception, plus that deal took a long time to get done. It does seem like there was some fault on, I don't want to say Randy, but on Randy's representation. I would say this is like an 80-20, 70-30 thing with the heavy majority being on the Cowboys. I don't think that Randy Gregory's representation is some sort of victim here. I know you're not saying that. But the turn was very fast. And I wish Randy nothing but the best. I really hope he thrives, especially in a super rootin' tootin' AFC West. But yeah, I mean, he's gone on Twitter and had some thoughts about the Cowboys front office that are, it's made the awkward end a little bit more awkward, I guess is maybe the best way to say it.
Yeah.
I think there's a Randy and RJ podcast out there. You talk about the NFC East mixtape. I think
me, Raichele, Randy, Monday Football Monday. Let's make it
No. I'm talking about a anti-Cowboys front office podcast where you and Randy just go in. You get all your thoughts out and your frustrations about this Dallas front office. And I would listen. I think that's a 5-episode special with you and Randy. You could tackle some different problems that we've had over the past few years with the Cowboys. And the first one could be his thing. You could go into the Dak disaster. It'd be a good little series. My other leading actor, by the way, Von Miller. Von Miller, man. The guy, somehow he got this contract that is for a young man, like a 28-year-old in Buffalo. What is the deal here? I got the contract details here. It is a 6-year, $120 million deal. I know there's some bonus years and some funny money tied to it, but that's still freaking ridiculous. And I put giving him leading actor because this man pretended that he was going to stay with the Rams. He pretended that he was going to go back to Denver, who was loading up and now finally has a quarterback. And he faked that he was going to maybe get his old jersey number back in the orange and blue. And then he said, oh, a really tough decision with LA. And then a random team like Buffalo comes out of this mix. Man, this guy was acting for the contract. He was taking the most lucrative deal, and he did. And kudos to Buffalo because they believe in him, and they ended up paying him. He's 33. You gave us 33-year-old. I understand you could cut him and whatnot at the end, and it's guaranteed and fake years, but you gave a 33-year-old a 6-year contract. What are we doing here? So congratulations to Von Miller, leading actor, just really pretending like Denver and LA were ever options as opposed to just taking that sweet, sweet, sweet cash.
You know, of all the people that we've listed so far, Vaughn, I think, is the most likely to actually be an actor. Like, actually be in, like you could see Vaughn in, like one of those movies like Valentine's Day or New Year's Day, talk about that just has, like, a ton of, like, A-listers and stuff like that. Like, I could totally see that happening.
Sure. He's got some Vin Diesel, too, right? Maybe a second career. We did see, the biggest movie star in the world started out as the University of Miami football player and
know,
was a WWE wrestler, and now makes tequila on the side as well. And
along those lines, have you seen the Jumanji remake, the first one?
So good. It's so good.
That's one of those movies that I thought it was going to suck. I thought it was going to be
Me
terrible. It was on one day, watched it, super funny, really enjoyed it. And I'm pleased to say the second one was on TV over the weekend. I recorded it, so I'm very excited to watch. I think it's Jumanji The Next Level.
It's almost just as good. I've seen both of them. I was stunned too, because whenever you redo a classic movie and you change it this much, it doesn't usually work. And they nailed it. And I think the key was, and this is not a movie podcast, I guess it kind of is, but was the casting. Jack Black, amazing. The Rock was amazing in it. Who else was in it?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. My God, Kevin Hart is the funniest in both of the movies. So yeah, no, I agree.
All right, back to Vaughn. Anyway, definitely he used the Cowboys as leverage. Again, kind of an example. There was, some murmurs that he was interested in it. I think that helped the proverbial bag.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? If anyone is like in a position to do that right now, I think it's Vaughn. Like, dude, you got 2 rings, 2 different teams. Like, he's Darrelle Revis. That's who you are. You're an NFL mercenary right now. Just show up. Whoever's going to pay you the most, go out, get paid, enjoy life, pick up more rings. He's going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, now go play for. I recognize some people will say like Buffalo isn't the like most luxurious NFL place to live, but he's only got to live there during the season, and that fan base will adore him forever. And sleek uniforms, Vaughn's gonna look great in that uniform.
Yeah, he will. And he kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I mean, if you really comes down to it, he's already got the rings, so I don't know if he's necessarily ring chasing anymore. Nope. So
no, but I'm saying like if he gets a third, like it's better than 2. That's my point.
So no, you're right. And it's not like he chose Detroit, right? I mean, he went to the AFC favorites. The Bills were the favorite to win the AFC. So he kind of accomplished both. So, he ended up getting paid, which I think was, I really think he was taking the highest contract regardless of it, the Bills being AFC favorites, but he also landed with the AFC favorites. So, interesting. I don't know. It's just, I wouldn't have liked it if he was teasing my team that he's going to make this comeback and really could go wherever he wants. And he should have went back to Denver because they finally have the quarterback, and you don't flirt with your
but
team.
Russell's not Josh Allen. Go to Buffalo. And why go? Like, you go to Buffalo, you win the division. Like, you know what I mean? It's easier path to the playoffs.
Does Josh Allen have unlimited potential though? I don't know.
Are we ready for best film? This is actually, I said best actors. This is the category, so I saved it for last. Are we ready for this? Like, how are you feeling?
Sure,
I got to be honest. You kind of came around. You were like, well, yeah, Vaughn was really authentic, like in his move going to Buffalo, which is literally the opposite of acting. So
I feel both about it. I'm like a yin. It's like a yin yang thing.
Okay. Are we ready for best film? Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first? Do you want Raichele to go first? Like, I want you to feel comfortable. I don't want you to feel cheated if I win the award today.
Let's give it to Raichele. We've gone first now. We both.
Yeah, Raichele, you've accused us of stealing yours several times. This is best film of the NFL offseason.
I like.
Wait.
Okay. Wait, no, I have it.
We are struggling today. She's got chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits on her mind, as you see in this chat right here. That we didn't get her breakfast in before.
I have best horror film because it was so bad.
That works.
From the season to off season, Washington football team, Washington Commanders. Ooh. Okay, listen. Starting from the season.
Wait. I do have to say, Raichele, you really have started to take command of this show. So go ahead, continue. Yeah,
I was really thinking hard on this one. I think starting from the season, they lost Chase Young. That was best defensive player. He's out. Then the incident with the benches, which was really bad. The incident with TikTok, which was really bad. Then they end up trying.
They also fought each other on the benches.
They fought each other. Right. I forgot about that. And then during the offseason, trying to change their name, which was just they should have stuck with Washington football team.
And then they messed up the seal where they put the improper Super Bowl years. Like, just.
And then the night before.
And then they traded for Carson Wentz. Like that. Oh my gosh. Like,
and the night before, the helicopter caught the name from like the local news helicopter. Is like zooming in, and it's like very clearly the Commanders now. And people are like, Commanders? Yeah. And you have the fans outside trying to make it work. And it's bad.
This is definitely a scary movie. This is like Get Out. You know what I mean? Like this is like that kind of really good movie that scares you. You know what I mean? So this is a great choice by you, Raichele. Like again, I wouldn't be pumped to watch this movie, but like you can acknowledge that some movies are great that you don't necessarily enjoy. So a fantastic submission from you. Way to get this party started. Again, like the fact that Carson Wentz and the fact that they gave up capital for him might not be the dumbest thing they've done this offseason. Really is saying something. Pete, do you want me to go next? Do you want to follow that great start? I mean, like I don't want any excuses if I win.
You can go first. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm actually going second, so way to just completely disrespect Raichele. All right.
Between me and you, I mean. First between us. Yeah.
Best film. This encompasses kind of everything who they've been, and I'm a big believer. There's got to be we've got to see our characters fall before they rise up. All right, that's just natural
Peaks and valleys,
storytelling.
Baby. Peaks and valleys, setbacks pave the way for comebacks. Come on. Yep.
With that being said, we've already talked about them. You mentioned it. They just got a massive infusion by way of free agency, and while we have been streaming / recording, news coming out that they have announced a 30-year deal for a new $1.4 billion stadium set to open in 2026 in Orchard Park, New York.
Not Toronto.
The Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
All right, the Buffalo Bills, we saw the setback. All right, they're going to change the overtime rules this week because of Josh Allen didn't get to touch the ball. That's so stupid. But that being said, man, this is going to be great. Like this, I thought the true setup for the great comeback was the Stephon Diggs watching the Chiefs celebrate winning the AFC at Arrowhead. That photo was like making all the rounds. No, it's going to be the overtime Josh Allen's tweet about pain during the AFC Championship coin flip toss when the Bengals beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost the AFC Championship, just in case you forgot. I mean, getting Von Miller now. I mean, the Bills are just they're back. And now they kind of have a formidable foe in the division with New England being back, Tyreek Hill leaving the loser Chiefs, and now on the Dolphins. It's just all setting up for them to just have this rise. I'm so in on this movie. This is the summer blockbuster, whether it's X-Men, Legally Blonde, Avengers, whatever. We're going to smash all box office record ticket sales. I'm going to enjoy this. Buffalo Bills, best film of the offseason.
Right. Interesting title, Buffalo Bills. What I'd say, I have an honorable mention here, and that's, of course, The Empire Strikes Back, and that'll be happening in Kansas City. But the best film goes, and here I have it right here. F them picks, the Les Snead story, because he has changed the mentality of teams in the league. He said goodbye to all these picks. We're going to be the Yankees. We're going to manage all this under the cap. It's like the Yankees of the late 90s and the 2000s. We're going to load up. We're going to load up on pitching. We're going to load up on hitting. We're going to have a home run hitter. We're going to have a guy that comes off the bench to steal bases. We're going to have everything you need.
Pete grew up a Mets fan, just everybody knows.
You have the homegrown Cincinnati Bengals, and they came close, but you didn't beat the Yankees, the 1998 2000 Yankees, because they just had too many weapons and they were too powerful. And shout out to Urban Meyer, 99 got it done in the end. And you have teams, I think, around the league, and you're really seeing this offseason, this seismic shift from what was the NFL offseason, which was always okay, right? And you'd have a couple marquee names, but really conservative, to this aggressive war zone where you're seeing picks. The Miami Dolphins, again, I'm not just bringing up the Chiefs. The Miami Dolphins sent 5 picks to the Chiefs for Tyreek Hill. You saw a first rounder and a second rounder go to the Green Bay Packers from the Las Vegas Raiders for Devontae Adams. These are 2 of the top 3.
Hey, Pete. You saw a 5th rounder go from the Cleveland Browns to the Dallas Cowboys for Amari Cooper. All right. Right. Don't you forget about it.
But I'm seeing, you're seeing stars. I mean, we just talked about Hill and Adams. Those are, in my opinion, 2 of the top 3 or 5. Yeah, Russ.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Going to the Broncos. Let's ride. And again, even Cooper with the 5th rounder. So to me, you are seeing teams that are close, instead of saying, no, we're going to continue to be patient and try to develop players, they're saying, no, the cap's going to blow up this next year. Let's go for it right now. If we feel like we're close, let's go for it right now. And I even think you're seeing teams just copy, even in a sense, what the Chiefs did in Cincinnati, where it's like, we were just an offensive line away from the title. Let's go spend on the offensive line. And so to me, Les Snead, to an extent, because again, I understand I'm selfish in my bias. Kansas City, I think, was kind of changing how teams operated for the past few years. And to me, this year was all about Les Snead and what they were able to accomplish by just saying, we're going for it. So just a new mentality of let's go get it, as opposed to no, let's be smart here and let's trust our personnel staff and let's not spend too much money. Less, and he wears it at the parade. He's billboarding, as they say, and I love it. So congratulations. That's the movie of the year. F them picks.
You know what, Pete? I actually was just told in my ear that in addition to winning Best Film, that the Los Angeles Rams and Les Snead have also won Best Original Score for the song that goes, I don't mean A, I don't mean B, I don't mean C, D, or E, I mean F. Damn picks.
That's right. That's right. Best original score. Right. Well, you know what? That wraps the Oscars today.
Wait. I have best short story. That's really last one I was going to sandwich in best short story.
What is it?
It's actually kind of a preliminary award. So this actually hasn't happened yet, but it's like, you know how like the day after the NFL draft, they come out with like, we'll get this year, like our first 2023 NFL mock draft, like way too early 2023 NFL mock draft. I'm sure there are a lot of like way too early 2023 Oscars predictions, right?
Sure.
So kind of a prediction of sorts. Best short film this time next year goes to the Detroit Lions for appearing on Hard Knocks. That news came out today as well. The 313 set to be on our televisions on the home box office this coming summer in August. I am certain that Dan Campbell, who wants to just present this like, I just say these naturally crazy things and I'm just this kooky guy or whatever. Dan, we're all hyper aware of what you're doing. Just don't necessarily be a complete caricature here. Just be cool.
You don't want the parody of yourself situation.
Right, exactly. And look, NFL Films, love you. If you're listening, we don't need the opening like monologue to be Jared Goff pontificating about the Rams winning the Super Bowl. We don't want that. All right, just throw us some Eminem, some Barry Sanders, some Nickelback. I mean, anything. Just get like anything but Jared Goff. All right, we've had to watch Jared Goff on a lot of NFL Films properties. We don't want Jared Goff. But still a preliminary award.
Yeah, you could already see where he's just like, as the music begins, he's like, yeah, it was really hard to see them move on from me and then go win it. But I believe in what we're building here.
But those are my guys, and I'll always be happy for them. Yeah,
those are my guys. But I'm focused on what we have here in Detroit and working hard, just like this city and what the people of this city deserve.
All right, the time has come. MF double MVP. MF
should we
double MVP?
Should we all vote at the same time so there's no in the chat? So there's like 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Send your vote in the chat. Is that what we want to do?
So there's no like, oh, I can. If you vote third, you can kind of give it to yourself.
All right, Raichele, can you join us just so we make sure we're all good?
Yes.
All right. So are you okay with these rules? Like I have my name typed out in the chat.
Me too. I'm ready to go.
Okay, we're all gonna hit send on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wow! Raichele wins MF double MVP. Wow. So let's just be very clear here. Here's how the votes came in. This is like Big Brother when Julie Chen announces all of the keys and everything. I voted for Raichele. Raichele, you voted for Pete.
I did.
And
good vote.
Pete, you voted for Raichele. So to be very clear here, if Pete hadn't switched the game up and said that we were going to all vote here, Pete would have tied me for MF double MVPs. But instead, Raichele, you won the award. Do you want to say anything? Who do you want to thank? Like, what are your thoughts, Raichele?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. First and foremost, I gotta thank God for this opportunity. I want to thank my family. Both of you two for making this possible. It wouldn't be possible without both of you guys. So thank you.
Congratulations, Raichele. Very well earned. I thought, seriously, I thought the Washington Commanders thing, great horror film. I mean, seriously,
yes.
You understood the game. Pete messed up. It's okay. It is what it is. Pete,
happens.
do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think this was a fun game for telling Raichele and I to change our plans 3 minutes before recording. I think we pulled it off. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you to Archie. They're a great program here tonight.
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you everybody for attending this year's SB Nation NFL show Oscars. If you have any thoughts, Rachel's on Twitter at Raichele Monique. Pete is on Twitter at PG Sweeney. I'm on Twitter at RJ Ochoa. Pete, the final words belong to you. Send us home. Get us out of here. The cameras are panning out. The spider cam, whatever aerial thing. Make it good. The confetti's falling. Pete, go.
Tip your bartenders. That's the dog barking.